Think you've seen it all? With Faceit Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive Faceit points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, Faceit.
Well, here we are after a solid day on Oceania. Moving up to Asia. It's Alpha Sky and Mac back once again. Minus 72C and Chinggis Warriors for us this evening, Mac. And look, it should be a pretty interesting one. This is a lower bracket match, so an important one for both these teams that are trying to keep themselves alive in the ESL Challenger League Season 49 Asia Playoffs.
Hell yeah. And they got the Huns waiting for them tomorrow for that big game, so winner of that gets to go up against them. You know, it could be a Mongolia or Mongolia situation, or we could see the East Russians from minus 72C, you know, make a nice little low bracket run. They've been a part of the, the ECL leagues for a fair while now. How many years? Probably like 2 years straight, if not a little bit longer. But yeah, good to see that they're still kicking around and making it to playoffs. They've always been a very formidable team, and one like Chinggis Warriors as well. You better believe that this could, on paper, be a very good game. But what else could happen this evening, Jordan? Could there be a chance that it's incredibly one-sided and we go home early? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, I lean a little bit towards Chinggis Warriors for this one. ESL Challenger League Season 49 result was a fairly one-sided map. One of them going the way of Chinggis Warriors, and then a pretty close map going the way of Chinggis Warriors. So they kind of 2-0 their regular season match, but we haven't really seen enough between these two teams to really lock anything in to make any kind of a guarantee. And I think that the way that Chinggis Warriors do play can promote some inconsistency. They are a team that often relies quite heavily on individuals to step up and do quite a bit of work. Controls in particular has been someone that has been pretty important in a lot of their wins lately that I've been watching. Again, you have to remember Carnage is going to be playing for Chinggis Warriors here in ESL Challenger League, so they do sort of lose out on... Well, they in theory should lose out on some firepower by not having Kulas in the server. But I have to say, Carnage, he actually looks kind of crazy when he's in the server. So, you know, maybe that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world either way. Yeah. So I'll still be leaning towards Chinggis Warriors here, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be an easy game for them. We'll take a look at the bracket here just to show you exactly where it is all sitting. As minus 72C and Chinggis Warriors are down in that lower bracket indeed. So this is a must-win. They are on elimination territory. We got to see Rare Adam get knocked out yesterday by the Huns. And a win here for... Look, if we just assume that the results will play out the way that they, in theory, should, it would be Chinggis Warriors to go up against the Huns. And that's a very winnable game for Chinggis Warriors. They've actually had some pretty decent performances against Huns lately. I think, actually, Chinggis Warriors been the number 2 Mongolian team behind the Mongols of late. Yeah. So if they can make it through this series, they can get into that game against the Huns. Very likely that they will make it to the lower bracket final and get themselves a top 3 finish with, obviously, a chance of making it to the grand final as well.
Yeah, it's one of these situations where, you know, domestically, maybe they have their number, but when it comes to the big opportunities, you know, maybe making it back to Sweden for Pro League Season 22, that's when, you know, things can change, you know. The priorities can shift, you know, teams can really show us what they're capable of, and this could be one of those. And imagine an East Russian team making it all the way through a lower bracket, taking down every other Asian team to potentially make it their way there. And then people will think, because they won't be locals. They'll just see another Russian team thinking, how the hell did these guys get here? And then that could open up some crazy conversation. And I hope one day we see that opportunity happen for the East Russian guys. But for the moment, I don't know if they've got what it takes. But today they might.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a little bit disappointing that we didn't really get to see any more of that former GR Gaming roster. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think they ended up being called LFO this season, but they were kind of that like premier Eastern Russian team that looked like they were going to be the one to be able to go the distance. If any team was going to be able to do it, it was going to be them. They, not disillusioned. What happened to them, Mac? They disappeared, basically, is the word. Dissolved.
Dissolved, disintegrated, there's a lot of dissing.
One of them words. Anyway, they're not a team anymore, as far as I know. So don't get to see them anymore. So minus 72C now might sort of take that mantle as the premier Eastern Russian team. The maps for today: Inferno, Dust 2, and Mirage. And
Miragi.
These three maps definitely in the wheelhouse for Chinggis Warriors. Inferno, we actually have not seen from minus 72C at all in the regular season. Not a map that they have played a single time. So that definitely is a bit of a concern for me. It was actually their most banned map. They have a very, very high ban percentage on Inferno. But leaving it open in this series, and Chinggis Warriors obviously going to be picking into it. Now, you have to look at that and think, okay, well, is that just a shift in mindset for minus 72C and that they've now started to maybe pick up Inferno and they're happy to leave it open here? Or was there another map that they were even more scared of and they opted to go for as a first ban instead? I mean, look, there's the map pool doesn't look fantastic for minus 72C, actually. I'm having a quick look. They don't play Inferno, they don't play Nuke, they don't play Train. So chances are they probably don't play a lot of Train at all just because it's a new map. And then Inferno and Nuke were not high up in their map pool. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. They've ended up banning out Nuke and Ancient in this series. You don't really want to be playing Ancient against a Mongolian team. It's a very popular map in that region. So your back's already against the wall here as minus 72C, even before you get into the server, just by virtue of the fact that Chinggis Warriors have a far superior map pool. In fact, Chinggis Warriors have got reps on every single map in the pool. They have a 7-map pool. They don't play a lot of Dust 2, but they've got some decent results, 75% win rate on it, and they've been able to beat Rare Atom, they've beaten Eruption, they've beaten Hotu. These are actually all pretty decent teams. So the only team that they've lost it to is Heroic. So I actually think, looking at this map pool, I mean, that's a 2-0 on paper every day of the week for me.
Yeah, on paper, but who knows? It's every dog has their day. And today could be any dog's day. You know what I mean? Like, it could be minus 72C coming back and being like, hey, shut up, Jordan. What do you know about our map pool, huh? We've been pracking, we've been putting in the hard yards, and hopefully they can make it the distance. The thing for me that stuck out in the veto is, even though you said that minus 72C don't play Train, both teams had the idea to at least float it, and it got banned in the second round, which leaves me intrigued because I'm hoping that, there is something that these teams are working on to float that as a possibility, even if they haven't really had a good amount of officials on it. But I'd love to see our region sort of grasp on and start to, put more reps in on Train in particular, because that's going to be one of those maps where, like, as you could see with Complexity going overseas, they weren't necessarily a team that was expected to do well, but they sort of became like the Train team. They started beating all these teams on Train by going for the pick into it, and the other teams just weren't quite ready for the weird off-meta NA style Train that they brought in, and that's something that we could do. It's something that I think like Tyler used to do back in the day. I'm pretty sure even Vici back then was a relatively good Train team back in the day, from what I can recall. And it was one of those maps where they internationally were able to, take some names every now and then. So, I'm thinking like roll back the years, go to those weird maps that some teams just don't like to play and hope that they don't insta-ban it.
Yeah, that's one of those maps. Like, I can't even remember back that far, but it is definitely, I think, something that if you're one of these teams that's like a little bit weaker in your region, you're definitely not up there. You're probably not winning on the standard maps in the pool anyway, so you may as well, I think, actually put in the time on the newer maps, on the Train, and see if you can actually use that as a bit of a pocket pick to get some upsets here and there. So it's not a bad strategy.
Early adapter.
Yeah, adopter.
Adopter even.
Yeah, adapter kind of works.
It's similar. Although I guess you can't adapt children. So maybe I'm wrong.
Contextually, though, I wonder what does that mean? I mean, maybe you could adapt children. You could adapt a child to something, some sort of situation.
True. They do inherently adapt to their environments.
Exactly.
But you cannot lawfully. Well, you can lawfully adopt a child. And I guess you could lawfully adapt a child. It just depends on the... Yeah.
Speaking of adapting, have you ever seen... What is that YouTube channel called? I think it's called Outdoor Boys. Have you seen that one?
Outdoor Boys.
Outdoor Boys.
I'm not sure. Is it the one? Is it the guys from Perth that go in the water and do all the cool stuff?
No. This guy lives in like Canada or something. But he like goes and just like does all this random insane stuff that like no human should be able to do. Like he just goes out camping when it's like snowing and stuff outside. Anyway, he's got a kid.
Is it like the dad and the child and he's like got the glasses? Yeah, no, I've seen him. Yeah,
so he's got the kid and this is what I'm talking about adapting, right? So you put me as a 5-year-old in that situation. I'm probably not going to have a good time. But his 5-year-old is pretty adapted to that situation. So, adapting a child, there you go. That's it.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, there's some nice ones there where like it gets too cold that he's not able to like actually defrost the snow into water so he can like cook a soup for the night or whatever. And they're the nights where he's like, I might just leave the camp here and leave and I'll come back tomorrow because I might freeze to death. Like, that's kind of crazy that's is it not Atlanta.
Alaska?
Alaska, the other A. Is Alaska in Canada or America?
Canada, I believe.
Canada. Yeah, I think that's where he goes, Alaska. But yeah, I'd love to go to Canada one day, just keeping things off topic while we're waiting.
Oh, it's the US. Yeah, it is a US state, but it's like in that bit which is like on the west of Canada. So
I'm going to Google it now too. Yeah. Alaska.
It's more Canada than it is the US, but apparently it's US territory.
Oh, right. Yes, it's... Yeah, okay. So it's not connected, kind of like Hawaii, but less surrounded by the ocean.
Yeah. Well, look, it seems like we've been talking enough rubbish, so unfortunately the game's not ready to go. And instead of letting you listen to us talk about Outdoor Boys and Alaska and not know where stuff is in the US and Canada, we're going to go to a break instead, and we'll be back when the game is ready to go. Right, well, it wouldn't be a game of ESL Challenger League Asia without a little bit of a delay getting in. But here we are, ready for map 1 between -72C and Chinggis Warriors. Chinggis Warriors kick things off on the T side. You can see Carnage in the server there. No cool last. And there's a pause. So
Not like these.
It's not going to be a long one.
Not like these.
Yeah, look, I don't know, Mac. Okay, I'm just going to say, if I was a player playing in Asia Challenger, and every single time I played, I knew that it took 15 minutes to get myself sorted with ping, I might turn up to my game 15 minutes early and check that before the game's supposed to go live. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
Happens every time. It does get a little bit irritating, I would suggest. But we will go back into another tech pause here. And all the people at home will be disappointed because they would want to watch some Counter-Strike. We want to watch some Counter-Strike. But we are being deprived. This time it's a mic issue.
Okay, so not a ping thing. So hopefully they'll get that sorted imminently. And it's, you know, maybe one of the players just had his bloody microphone muted. And it looks like we should be well underway. Ariukul, Rue, Ghetto Kids, controls. And when he was moving, I thought that said Craigslist, but it's Carnage first. So this team are on the T side. Chinggis Warriors are looking to get it done. But let's see how much fun they can have here. And let's see what they can do on the T side here.
Yeah, indeed. Rooks at the top of Banana, already getting his way pretty quickly through the map. Quite a lot of map control actually here for Chinggis Warriors early on in the round. They've got a singular smoke for this B site hit. If they want it, it should just be a smoke in for CT. It will be nothing fancy. Rook's just going to dump that one on the floor and then try to make his way in. There's a single flash. Chinggis Warriors not quite able to get themselves into the site as Spira will take the head off of Rooks. Biek here should get himself an easy one, or he does. Lines it up nicely onto controls. This round just looking a bit all over the place for Chinggis Warriors, isn't it?
Very weird indeed. And they did try to rotate away from the B site, but as Old Mate went down, everything just kind of went wrong. And -72C are looking fired up and ready. Crispy shots without losing a single member and putting the first round in the bag.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was meant to be from Chinggis Warriors, frankly. Like, you get Rooks in there to try and have a bit of a look in on B, but there's nobody else that goes with him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's that? And then, okay, the late flank on A, fair enough. You know, maybe. But do you really, as Chinggis Warriors there, think you've done enough to sell a fake on B by having Rooks just run around on his own?
Who knows? The layered approach from them didn't get the job done. And Carnage just trying to figure out the right spot to be lining this utility up. Dodging those HEs if they were to come deep towards Banana. And -72C with full Banana control off the back of that. Double short set up with one towards apartments. And, oh lordy, Biek is just caught with a util in hand. Mate, that is not what you want. Waterfall smoke as well thrown from, I believe, T-stairs. So I'm loving the strat so far. Both CTs caught between a rock and a hard place. But the flash is damn good. And Chinggis Warriors, this should be their round every day in the 5v2.
Yeah, that was a little bit more like it from Chinggis Warriors, right? That wolf pack set up straight out from Carps. Yeah, very happy days. Spear up. He'll get Carnage, who was floating around toward B looking for another kill or two.
Have they not found themselves the upgrades yet? There was, a scout? There's 3 guns that could be taken, but they haven't bothered going for them.
Yeah, an MP9, a scout, and what?
Probably another MP9,
another
I guess.
MP9, you'd think. They want the M4, I suppose, but... Yeah, look, Mac, I don't know how much Chinggis Warriors you've watched, but... I have to say, sometimes they're a team that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But they are pretty sharp. They are very sharp. And I think a lot of the time that is enough often to get them through these ESL Challenger League Asia games. But when they play against the better teams, it can look a little bit lost sometimes.
I love that. I actually adore that strat. Was that a smoke on the molly to insta-bloom on the balcony? I'm I missed that. I want to watch that back on the replay in 4 minutes on the live stream. But yeah, I like that combination of the utility to bust out apps, and I hope we get to see a little bit more creativity like that. Maybe not the over-commitment on the hunt to throw all of your weapons and bloody armor away that would allow you to have a stronger buy here in this round. Ugh, what's up is dead. Mate, get out of dodge. He thought there was space behind the molly. That is not how mollies work these days. Late spreads are a killer, and Ghetto Kids is as well.
Yeah, smoke down from -72C, but Chinggis Warriors feeling good about the round so far. Happy to just start to set themselves up for this B take. It doesn't really look like there's going to be too much funny business in this round for Chinggis Warriors. Just waiting out that smoke a little bit. Smoking CT off themselves.
Yeah.
And contacting their way into this site. There may be a flash or two, but honestly, no one even from Chinggis Warriors ready to throw one out. So just going to walk their way in, trusting this CT smoke.
Look.
And damage already coming back in the other direction. Spira not dead yet. Good flash through. Decent protocol so far from -72C. And Chinggis Warriors just not flooding the site well enough. He got the reload off, but he couldn't do anything with it. So Chinggis Warriors just about doing enough.
Nice crosshair placement from everyone so far, but bullets going slightly awry. And the bomb will finally get planted in a moment when they feel safe about it. Just worried that that smoke at CT would allow them to creep on forward. Bullets going straight past Control's head, but it is going to be Inhuman in the 1v3. Gifted the 1v1, but Ghetto Kids that much sharper with the Galil is going to be able to stack another on the round, on the board rather, for Chinggis Warriors, who will take the lead 2-1.
Yeah, Spira's looked actually quite good as this sort of B anchor player. Sitting there in new box, nice double kill from him. Not enough to win the round, but
Yeah.
definitely enough to turn some heads. He's 7-1 so far.
Okay, faster approach towards Banana. 4 of the boys looking to group up in this side of things. Molly on the corner, forcing the CTs back, and that will be Banana control, and they're not going to let go of the W key just yet. Ariukul, he can smell a couple of, cheeky freebie frags, maybe, unless he's caught with U2 in the hand. Oh, the flash is way too good, but the cover's that much better for Chinggis Warriors. Think from Barosto, but he's going to be getting right out of dodge. And the chase is on. Rook's looking to do it just with the Glock. Secondary. It's faster to pull out, then going for the reload. Oh, and it's fast to find those headshots as well. Quick one out of Chinggis Warriors to put a third on the board.
Yep, 3-1 score. I mean, that round, you weren't really ever expecting too much out from -72C, but this is where it's going to start to get a bit more interesting. We've seen a couple of moments in this game already where, you know, Spiro at least has looked like he's been solid. So with guns in hand, -72C can look to start to make some inroads. And I also don't think that Chinggis Warriors have looked like outstanding so far. It's just been kind of run-of-the-mill stuff. So still waiting for both these teams to really get themselves set up in this series. Borosso straight down middle. Should be traded down here and will be, but costs a lot of HP for E-Fire, aka Ghetto Kids.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. Barosto could have found more damage. And just going to be able to take another name. So, man advantage now. Chinggis Warriors from here, especially on Inferno, you can just group up and hit a site together. You should have the numbers no matter where you go. But they're going to stay 2-2 on the split. What's up? He was thinking about putting some extra pressure dry through that smoke, and it's fortunate that he didn't, because there were eyes on his position. Molly towards Logs, and he goes down, or at least over towards Broom for now. And he actually fights to find a pick and a double. That is insane that he's able to do that. And I believe Rooks has heard that rotation out of Arch side, so he should be able to catch a timing. Good crosshair placement to control A. But that second CT, not known where he is playing from, and it's going to be the double on long. Big rotate through, and they're going to beat the bomb to the punch. Is Carnage going to be taking this? This round's so awkward now.
Yeah, I like this, though, from Chinggis Warriors, but it is very standard of them. And it works out again. Look, if you're -72C here, you have to look at the way that Chinggis Warriors have been playing during this playoffs, you know, in some of these massive tournaments, and recognize that that is what they're going to do in the mid-round. When they're in a 2-on-2, they're in a 3-on-3, and they're on the T side, they are going to pause. They are going to stop, and they're just going to sit there and wait for you to make a push. It has been happening all week long.
Yeah.
So minus 72C, either not aware of it, not prepared for it, one of the two. Get a rude awakening, but prepare yourselves, because you are going to be seeing a lot more of that in the mid-rounds from Chinggis Warriors. They have been using that as their fallback in those mid-rounds for the entire playoffs so far.
Well, pressure. And BX going to be able to sneak his way in through second on a timing. But how deep can he get? Oh, and has he been seeing controls? Yeah, he's aware. Tapping away. We'll get the reload off. It looks like they are going to fully isolate this fight. There he goes. Biek out of the equation. And now minus 72C need to make a move, but they're just going to go for the 2-2 splits on the defense and start to make a move in through the halls.
Well, that's nice. So back to 4-on-4, and a lot of presence, a lot of control for minus 72C toward A. They've got full brackets pressure. And Barosto looking down middle as well is going to be identifying that there's not a whole lot happening towards A. So quick rotate over here for minus 72C. It still might not be fast enough. It is just what's up in the site. Molly's going to force him over toward Pillar, even in toward Dark. So Chinggis Warriors should be relatively aware that new box is going to be cleared. Carnage goes down, but a 2-for-1 exchange is enough to keep Chinggis Warriors happy on the entry.
Oh! No chance. Couldn't lock on through the smoke, through the wood. With that bomb getting planted, things get even more awkward. Deagle in hand, Barosto to tap onto Rooks, but I dare say he won't find any more. Ghetto Kids, ooh, okay. And Ariukul's low. Maybe there's a world. Ariukul now has to play the time game. Oh, and if only that was a stick.
Yeah,
if only.
He really is playing the time game, isn't he? He's gotten up, he's made a cup of tea.
He's straight up praying, hoping that there was no stick. What is this? What a strategy.
Has he literally gone AFK?
He's going to make a tea. He's like, boys, I'm so confident in this round. I'm going to go pour myself a drink.
Has he disconnected and died? He disconnected. No. He disconnected, bro. He's won the clutch. Disconnected. I had a feeling there's no way he's just sitting there, bro. There's no way. Of course. That's not something you're going to see every day.
That's actually insane. Oh, well, there's your Asian CS moment of next week that you can line up.
Yeah, clip that one.
And they've gone into a tactical, which, you know, arguably is probably meant to be a technical, so they should get that one back.
Yep.
Little odd situation for them. But he'll be back in no time. Give me some wood to touch.
I've got a wooden desk, so that's not a problem for me.
Yeah, you got it. This is all metal in here. Kev, come on. I'm in my old roommate's room currently. Oh, here's some wood. Yep, my old shelf. Thank you. We've touched it. We're good.
Well, we'll see how long this one is going to take. I mean, this is pretty standard again for when it comes to Asia. You're just going to have to get used to it if you're not a regular viewer. It's never a smooth ride, unfortunately, in this region. There's a lot of, you know, VPNing and ping issues and stuff like that involved.
All the fun stuff, of course.
Yeah. Looks like we're getting back into it. So maybe just PC crash, something like that. Don't know. It's all good.
Yeah, odd timing. Could have even just been the old accidental alt-tab bug. You never know. We're not there with them. But we are back into the game, and that is what matters. Short tech pause out of the way into round 7. We will resume play. 3 towards short, looking for heavy A defense this time. I'm on a 72C. Not fully investing too much util towards Banana. Missed opportunity, but Controls ain't missing anything. Nice little spray to take Human out. And that's going to soften up that A-site defense. No fast rotation just yet as Controls has already made his way in towards Arch side. But how's he play this one? Walks right back into the crosshair of Barosto. And we'll see if Ghetto Kids is going to be able to crack one open. There's the answer back. Molly to the right position. And it's all up to Biek to try and hold, but he'll smoke that Molly, reveal his hand, and that will draw the rotation from the rest of the minus 72C troops.
Yeah, which is huge. This is going to be a free round win for Chinggis Warriors if everything goes to plan. They've got control of that B bomb site. And bomb coming across now as well. It was left in T spawn, had to be collected. E5 bringing that one across. He's going to re-smoke CT. Got a deep smoke. Bomb plank goes down. And Chinggis Warriors should be up 6-1 now.
Yeah, on paper, looking good. And minus 72C getting read like a book, forcing those rotations across. So well played. There is actually some method to the madness of CW. And I can't wait to see a little bit more here, at least on Inferno. It's been going very well. And like the strats that they're pulling aren't anything super crazy, but I wouldn't say that they're like super common either. Maybe just playing on the tendencies of minus 72C, who will be happy to take that gamble and save the AWP and AK across into the next. Into the 8th. CT is going to be able to go for the full reinvestment around the 3 saved weapons. And Chinggis Warriors, likewise, plenty of cash in the bank after their own reinvestment. Mostly just refreshing that utility. Looking for early banana control with the half-wall smoke, car molly. And we'll respect the CT util for the moment. Barosto missed a chance again. Over towards controls, but Ghetto Kids in the meanwhile has been taken out of the fray.
What's up? Chinggis Warriors about to find what's up. Oh, they are actually. But not the way that I thought. I thought he was going to get a bit of work done. That's a good trade from Chinggis Warriors. They could just charge into B if they wanted to. The rotation, though, coming across quickly from Barosto. He will be smoked off. Controls, looking for it. He's on his own. Scared for a second as that shot comes through from the smoke, but Barosto certainly heard on that transition. Controls maybe didn't hear him, but makes the cross to new box safely anyway.
Yeah, timing kind of awkward and weird there. And in comes the refresh on the CT smoke. Barosto, there is space behind the molly. And Control seems to be aware of his location. Oh, won't be able to get out of dodge. Actually, it's Inhuman to fall. And Barosto will, in fact, leave. Oh, takes that shot at, unfortunately, the wrong time. Rooks takes him down a notch. And that is going to be utter domination so far on this T side. 7-1. And mind you, pretty sure minus 72C won the pistol, right?
Yeah, they did. I mean, this is a dominating display so far from Chinggis Warriors. Minus 72C not able to get anything going at the moment. And again, just going to buy back in, but like, does it really matter at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Little crazy, a little bit wacky. And Carnage even bringing the Krieg into play. I think he got a nice little trade in the last round with it. And see what else he can bring into the fray. This time, minus 72C going straight down mid again. Barosto has been very confident with plays like this and, oh, will isolate the fight, but Ghetto Kids gets the better of him this time.
Well, that was something. That's a start to a round. One that Chinggis Warriors will be happy with, but Biek is able to get one back onto controls, which is also one of the higher HP players. Again, seems like the finish towards B will be the name of the game here. That's an interesting smoke, that first one from Chinggis Warriors, but it's going to allow Ariukul to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was it in the 3-on-4, but I guess when you're up 7-1, you kind of don't care anymore.
Well, in theory, it kind of like makes that tunnel, right? And that is what you do, but what you would usually pair it with is if you have more players, kind of like break some smokes, throw some flashes, hope that there's a boosted member towards CT that you can get in behind and under. But yeah, it didn't quite work with the whole setup that -72C were playing. They seemed to be very aware that there was going to be a misc play through the smoke. But in the 3v3, job's not done for either side. Carnage low. And we're going to see nice deep coffin smoke come through. CT smoke going to be refreshed too. And Ghetto Kids is going to sell the fake with the bomb running in A. Rotation already coming out from -72C. They'll find one of the Ghetto Kids and have the numbers game strong in their favor to retake A.
Yeah, but in saying that, I'm not sure how much I can necessarily back them. Rook's close on the angle, wants to try to find an isolated 1v1. He's not going to get that. Oh, he shouldn't have got that. He did get it. He got 2 isolated 1v1s. They were not expecting him there. Now he's going to flash himself, but that's all good.
Bold move.
Is out on the site. I suspect that's been heard by Carnage, that jump up. Maybe not. Little noggin spotted.
Not planted for him.
And the bomb is indeed not planted for him. So Rooks is going to have to charge his way forward. It's a long defuse. Very long defuse. But the flash connected. Oh no! What am I watching,
Somebody's lost their round.
What am I watching?
Oh no!
It's Asia CS at its finest again. We've got 2 clips in one game.
He overplayed it. He overplayed it too hard. He beat himself. And everything else was like perfect from him. The push, the 2 isolated fights through Arch, and then this. And then this.
How much are you loving being back?
Having a field day. Wow. This is gold. This is comedy gold. I love what they're cooking up in this bloody region.
Yeah, it's definitely something. And it will give -72C a little bit of a bolster to that round counter. They've doubled it up to 2 now, but you really have to be getting it to 5 here at least. And trouble is, if you lose this round, you just instantly reset again. But if Chinggis Warriors decide they just want to contact play walk through this smoke, I'm going to be very disappointed. There is a flash over the top. Barosto perfectly situated right between the 2 players that push through. They don't look in his direction. Carnage has found himself 2 kills on the entry into B, though, and he's got a deep CT smoke as well. So this will be a bomb plant down for Chinggis Warriors, and again, a very winnable round.
Thinking about it, letting Inhuman play first, who will be mollied off, or so the map would say. There's a huge gap for Inhuman to play in front of it. CT is going to flash their way into Con. Good timing on controls, the dodge there. And then BX wasn't too far away either. Now it's all Inhuman on 1 HP to try and do it in the 1v2. First found, smoke missed on the bomb. And Carnage getting looked at, but there's no kit and no chance and no time for -72C. So they won't be allowed to win that one again, and no one will be allowed to carry a weapon into the next. 8 on the board for Chinggis.
I mean, that's a massive win for Chinggis Warriors, though, is it not? Like, look at the money that they've got compared to what -72C have got. Chinggis Warriors can afford that. They can afford to lose all the guns as long as they're winning the rounds. -72C, unfortunately, cannot. So their woes will continue.
I'm kind of just waiting for that other round to be played back on stream now. That was insanity. Oh, well, firing squad from behind the smoke, and the aggression from the CTs gets fully deleted, except there's one more member sneaking in the smoke here, and they won't expect Inhuman walking in as the 4th man for Chinggis. How much can he get? 2's good. A 3rd would be nicer. And Controls is here to put a stop to it. Flicks around just in time. Ghetto Kid's going to deal with that push down mid. And a round which looked like -72C may have been able to sneak their way back into. Goes awry, Jordan.
Indeed. 9-2. This is looking to be double digits in the half for Chinggis Warriors. I mean, it's a good effort, really, from -72C, having that extra player in Banana. And Inhuman, he really did what he could in this situation, but still not going to be enough. Money there for a buy for -72C, although a little bit wishful in terms of the util that they do have available to them. But one full belt over on A, one full belt over on B. It is going to be enough to delay things a little for Chinggis Warriors, and that will certainly slow them down. Rook's losing a very long-range duel against Boros, though.
Ooh, answer back though, Carnage. Gonna fall to Spirit there. As the aggression starts to come up short. Gun pulled out in time, but it's gonna be hard to shoot back. Enough damage done for the Molly to finish the job. And Inhuman gonna double back into Boiler, which the T's are not aware of. He's right behind enemy lines, and he will still be there. But it's all gonna boil down to the timing again. Sneaky in the last, and maybe sneaky here to close out a third round for -72C.
It may be, but Bomb's on its way to B. So if Controls can actually just sit here in pit and cause a bit of a ruckus, maybe get a kill, and the bomb plant goes down in the next sort of 10 seconds or so, then actually this could still end up being a pretty tough round for -72C. It really does depend largely on what Controls can do. He's got the bomb plant down, and if it ends up being just a 1v2 here for him, I think it might be winnable for Controls, but in the end, -72C are just going to completely ignore E-Fire there in pit. Start to move on their way to B. There is a smoke in their way, and ignoring E-Fire was the problem. Because now it's been brought back to a 2-on-2. There's a re-smoke. He found the CT util that was just tossed on the corner there, by the way, Max. This is CT util. That is going to be the undoing of that round for -72C. So it's just another series of unfortunate events for them. 10-2 is the half, and Chinggis Warriors are looking good. Back once again for some Inferno domination, 10-2. The scoreline, Chinggis Warriors. I mean, look, there's not a whole lot to say about that first half that is positive for -72C. They even lost a round against a guy that was disconnected. So it was all rough. It was all bad. But maybe they can do something here in the second half. And look, to be fair, the expectations were low for -72C. This is not a map we'd seen them play in regulation. By regulation, I mean regular season. But yeah, 10-2, tough to come back from.
Not impossible, but it will all boil down to this round, and Ghetto Kids has gone straight in behind enemy lines. Ooh, looking a little awkward now, a little worse for wear. Controls as well, going to be able to pick his fights perfectly, except not the second man. Spira, able to retrieve that C4. What's up as well, knowing that that is still locked in there, and a big pick onto Ghetto Kids, but Arayukul, if anyone, may be able to snatch this one away, but the two-tap at range is damn good from What's Up, and -72C, they are in with the shot.
Yeah, not bad at all. Pistol is definitely a start. I suspect that Chinggis Warriors are going to be force buying into this next round, though, so let's just hold off on anything yet, because this round could still be a little bit of a difficult one to negotiate for -72C. There is indeed that force through. Scout out for controls and smattering of rifles and pistols and SMGs elsewhere. That's a good shot from Barosto. Efi is able to walk his way down middle though, and he has that backup of Arayukul, who's just kind of keeping an eye on things for him. Very important that Efi picks his timing correctly here, and he has done so. He's waited patiently, and he'll get two, maybe even another one here. Gets the bink straight away onto Spira. How does he get away with three, Mac? That is illegal. -72C can't be allowing that to happen, and unfortunately, it very much did. The dream start to the second half turning to a nightmare, as a 2-on-4 will ensue, and Rooks able to get out to safety. Arayukul in for one with the MP9 now as well. C4 well and truly in the control of Chinggis Warriors.
Certainly will be. And -72C are going to be kicking themselves after that one. You need to lock them in when you get an opportunity, when you get a better buy. But Chinggis Warriors, the force buy, the positioning, everything going in their favor. Ghetto Kids has been impressing me this game so far. Huge damage and a huge triple to turn the half on its head already. And -72C are going to have nada to bring into the 15th.
Yeah, rough spot to be in. Oh, massive run boost for Rooks there. He's very, very quick into Banana. Gets a little bit of chip damage onto What's Up. It doesn't look like -72C want to try and fight for Banana, which is fair enough. They've got nothing to fight for it with, but Chinggis Warriors are not going to let them out that easily. They're just going to keep on going. And that is Chinggis Warriors doing what they do best, running at their opponent and just beating them to a pulp. 12-3, Chinggis Warriors looking to close out map 1.
Fade smoke coming through. We'll see if Chinggis Warriors put that mid-aggression to good use again. And it looks like they will be. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they know they're probably just up against pistols, although the Deagles have some bloody stopping power when they hit those noggins. One Deags all round. And Arayukul, some stopping power of his own. With a smoke bang that comes through. Util getting dumped left, right, and center. Will be able to make his way to the top of the sandbags. And -72C are happy for that Util to bleed. With the man advantage, there's still a very good shot, but there's also a very good lurk coming in behind enemy lines, and they don't know Ghetto Kids is coming on the flank at T-stairs. Flash forward, T starting to make their move, but the flank will activate just in time, although... Oh, he's dropped that ball.
Yeah, but they've slowed down. They've paused now. They're a little bit concerned about what's happening at bottom 9. Arayukul given time to collect himself, and only able to collect 1 kill in the end. It was such a nice start. I thought he would get more than that. So maybe a winnable round in here for -72C. You do have Chinggis Warriors thinking about the retake right now. Fire, aka Ghetto Kids, will lose his life, and That may send Carnage packing. He's collected the AK and just had his head banged off. The Deagle's apparently pretty good.
Okay, job's not done. Let's see how many minus 72C can get. Flashing high. Good enough for the aggression again, but they'll probably need a little bit more. 4v4. And Chaos towards the A site. Numbers coming in. Carnage, missed opportunity, but there is still going to be a 5-7 at close range. Biek going long, though, as are all the other troops. Full wrap around. Carnage on the reposition. Gets to the right spot. And Chinggis could be, with that blocked smoke, on for a good one. Flank as well from controls.
Yeah, they've got them trapped. They've got them hemmed in, penned in by the smokes. Straight back from Barosto, but Rooks has just taken matters into his own hands. He's pushed out of that smoke, gotten rid of Spear Up. And now it comes down to a one-man game. Barosto forced away by that incense. Chinggis Warriors know they've got him trapped in library. They can hear him running around. Rooks will be forced back by that molly. Low HP on all of these CTs, but it won't matter as controls will hit his shots, and 13-4 in map 1 will be the score. It is Chinggis Warriors that walk away with a pretty comfortable victory on their map pick of Inferno.
From beginning to end, it felt like pure dominance. You know, pistols maybe going the way of minus 72C, but Chinggis able just to follow through with rounds off the back of it, make their life so difficult for the East Russians. But look, there is still at least another map for them to play, and it will be their map selection, so that'll be good for them. But yeah, Chinggis Warriors looking like they mean business here in the lower bracket, and they want to go on to face the Huns. Except for that round. We don't want to talk about that again.
No. There's a couple of rounds in there that we don't want to talk about, to be quite honest. It was a very Asia CS game of Inferno. I think that much is easy to say, but at the end of the day, this really comes down to Chinggis Warriors, I think on an individual level, just being far superior to minus 72C. Like, you see so many moments where minus 72C could maybe clutch a round out, get a kill here or there, but they're kind of just beaten to the punch by superior aim and superior individuals, and that will very much be the case going into map 2 as well, I dare say. But we'll find out if minus 72C have anything more to say about this one when we do come back for said map. First though, time for a break.
Think you've seen...
We're back here for map number 2 between Chinggis Warriors and a -72C. And look, Inferno, -72C, you put the 2 and 2 together. It was Inferno that ended up being a little bit stronger than the cold weather. -72C did not manage to stand up to the heat of Inferno. It's the Chinggis Warriors getting the win there, 13-4, Mac, and it's looking like that graphic there that we just had on our screen, Chinggis Warriors have never lost to -72C, may continue to prove true with the proceedings this evening. It's been pretty straightforward for them. Moving on to Dust 2, it is the map of -72C, so there is that to speak to, but look, it's actually been kind of an okay map for Chinggis Warriors, so I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be a 2-0.
I am too, buddy, and I'm hoping that maybe we get a little bit of life out of a -72C, but it feels like right now Chinggis Warriors just kind of can taste that W. You could see how much better they were running rings around -72C in some of those moments, and unfortunately, you know, didn't win a couple of crucial rounds and the stacks as well. Like there were just some calls where obviously, you know, you can gamble on Inferno by going for stacks, and sometimes it backfires, and a lot of the rounds where they gambled, it backfired. So just unlucky in the end, the 50-50 chance is not going their way, and Dust 2, look, at least it's tried and true, and there should be a better chance for them. It's their map pick, and usually for a reason, and look, some of their players were actually hitting some pretty nasty shots, pretty nice little spray downs, so if they can do that here on Dust 2, play the numbers game, then maybe, just maybe, it can go well for them. I'm trying to figure out which side we think Chinggis are going to be starting on, because, you know, they unfortunately, well, they get to choose the sides. But if you go the T side, you know, you can be unfortunate with spawns if you're playing spawn-based gameplay. And I was liking the creativity at least there for Inferno. So hopefully there's a bit of that brought here into Dust 2 as well.
Yeah, hopefully. But looking at the fact that Chinggis Warriors have been able to beat Rare Atom, Eruption, and Hotu on this map doesn't really make me super confident that -72C are going to have a grand old time, but let's find out. Chinggis Warriors are going to be starting off on the CT side. And -72C going for a bit of a spread of util. The flashes have been given over to Barosto and Inhuman, so we don't have a dedicated util tosser man. It's just looking like it might be a B-rush here with the flashes getting layered through by those guys that have them in hand. Carnage unable to land himself a shot on the opener, and he's really up the creek without a paddle. There's a blink on to E-Fire as well. And that might be the end of the round here, as Ariukul is the only one to get himself any kind of inroads in this one. -72C with the good old-fashioned B-rush. And this time it looks like it's going to work out.
Let's see if they can get in. Ariukul pretty much going solo here. Ghetto Kids knows he's got to create some space away. Headshot found, but a lot of sound being made on the fadeaway. Lovely crispy one out of Inhuman. And that is going to be a T-pistol on the board. So -72C will have won 3 out of 3 pistol rounds so far. But if the trend continues, Chinggis Warriors are winning the next.
Yeah, that's just sometimes how it be. Force buy in again from Chinggis Warriors. They've been pretty successful with these when they have been required. Once again, got controls over on the scout, so he'll be the focal point at the start of this round. Mid push out from Chinggis Warriors. That has been spotted. They do know that there's a couple of players down in lower dark. I think that they do, but apparently that comm hasn't necessarily come through. Ariukul and Rook's able to strike. And this is starting to fall apart a little bit for -72C. The uppers crunch from Chinggis Warriors.
They're doing it again.
Bombing control of the CTs.
Can Spira save the day? Can he do it for Titus? That's the big question. Repay the favor. Bomb, though, with a minute on the clock in uppers. I guess there's a world where maybe he can isolate both these fights. And Jordan, I'll just let you know that that was a Final Fantasy X reference. I'm assuming you've never played it.
No.
But if Conky was here, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, he's a bit of a nerd.
Yeah, he's a Final Fantasy nerd. I am too, though. Great game, great series. But we are here
I've literally never played it. Oh, that's a good shot though from Spira.
He's winning this. He's winning it.
Yeah, I reckon he might be. Ariukul. Oh, through the wall.
NT.
Gets the headshot. Yeah, it was a nice try from Spira, but shouldn't have ever got to that point for -72C. They do give up another force buy round.
Lovely crunch. And this narrative is getting stale. Chinggis Warriors giving up the pistol, winning the follow-up, and then looking to win this one as well, just to really put that pressure on the -72C economy. Let's see what the East Russians can do. With, look, a Galil, a Scout, and a mixed bag of pistols. Not much utility to play with, so we'll see if they go for an earlier pop. 2-1-2 split, short, quite open.
Yeah.
But that'll change in a moment.
Quite open is an understatement. It's been completely left by Chinggis Warriors for now. But they're going to start to retake it with some of that util. Control's very aware of the possibility of some players there. He's going to toss a grenade on through. Will eat some damage for his trouble. But he gets the info. He'll drop the smoke down. -72C, though, keen to walk through it, but eFire aware that there's a bit of a hole on the right side of that smoke, and he's going to take advantage of that flash over the top, causing some problems for him. Spira and Inhuman maybe still in with a chance. That's a good kill. That one also helping out. And all of a sudden, this round slipping away from Chinggis Warriors. They had a 4v2.
How's this timing? Inhuman. Oh, nasty little headshot. He might go back for more, but it is going to be answered by -72C. So we won't see the same narrative repeated this time. Chinggis Warriors down. And I don't know if they're going to be forcing into the next, although I did see a buy straight off the bat.
Yeah, not sure I'm a huge fan of that round from Chinggis Warriors, man. What happened there? Well, we're going to have a jostle for control of this first half. There's no doubt about that. We've got 2 scouts out for Chinggis Warriors, which is pretty scary, honestly. Oh, and that's a good start. Not to mention the fact that eFire has just ran all the way up middle. Has that been heard by Inhuman? I don't think so. He's going to get around behind Inhuman. He's going to be able to find the bomb. And he's got Carnage there to assist as well. Timing not clean enough, though. So this now comes down to Carnage potentially finding something, but he'll have to do that before the wrap comes in from What's Up. Or maybe he'll have to catch What's Up. Timing, oh, good enough. Wins the duel. And Controls is just hitting everything with the Scout right now. Down to 1 HP, but still a gun in the game, and Rooks hiding inside of the smoke for the moment will get himself nothing. So far, Controls down. What do you do here if you're Rooks? Try to win the duel at the player at Carnage. Looking forward as well. They're aware of his position. Once again, -72C. Looks like they're getting through a really touch-and-go round. That flash going to make it very difficult for Carnage to get anything done, even though he has now found himself an M4. It should just be the double swing from -72C. It will be. And that is 3-1 the scoreline. So the dust is going to settle Chinggis Warriors on the back foot here on map 2.
Lovely end to the round. And maybe the saving grace that -72C needed just to get themselves a bit of confidence back, and this one should be yet another confidence builder just up against the pistols of Chinggis Warriors. Firing squad at mid for the CTs, and over towards long. Carnage was very solo and very dead now. Fast flank maybe going to get activated, and that seems to be getting held by Inhuman, who is going to be left all alone, but he's got the shadow advantage, he's got everything going for him. How many CTs can he mop down? Oh, although he's left the vicinity. Maybe there's a chance for the flank to go well, although there is some noise made, and he's heard it.
Yeah, Biak there available to help out as well if necessary, but only on 6 HP, so probably doesn't want to get involved in this round if he can avoid it. He's going to go hunting, he's going to go looking. There's surely nothing to be had here for Chinggis Warriors if multiple players are watching the long doors. Maybe, just maybe, -72C are going to be able to put together a good T side here and give us a sniff in at a map 3, which felt like it was a long way away when we were watching map 1.
NT, maybe another day. But let's have a look-see at what happens in the next. Extra cash farmed up with that Mac 10. And he was going to go for the reinvest anyway. Little upgrade to the AK. And -72C right as rain. 3 towards upper. Bomb in spawn. And human control and Sui with Biek just making a bit of a kerfuffle over towards long. I like that smoke that he's thrown. But it is disrespected by Chinggis Warriors, rather. His controls just walked straight through it to get close towards the doors. And goes loud on the exit.
Well, some good space taken by -72C here on short. Barosto thinking about calling the boys across. Looks like they're headed in that direction. Biek will have to wait out the smoke in bedroom before trying to activate on long, but looks like it'll be a good old-fashioned A hit. It's a nicely timed smoke from Chinggis Warriors that'll slow the proceedings down. Nade into the mid to B smoke, doesn't spot anything out. Chinggis Warriors putting the pieces of the puzzle together there. Fairly aware this is going to end up being an A hit. And here comes the push from -72C. Nade forward. Ooh, it's controls in the head. But he's also got one onto what's up in the noggin as well. Looks like -72C might have lost a player in all of that mix as well. So just 3 up, now 2. And Carnage in for a couple. Biek, last man standing. Inhuman, not there for what it's worth. And Biek goes down. That'll be the end of the round. So we'll probably have a little tech pause here once again. Always fun and games in Asia.
What was your go-to schoolyard game as a kid, Jordan?
What do you mean, like?
I was a Bull Rush fan.
Bull Rush was good. Yeah,
Bull Rush was great.
We played a lot of Capture the Flag actually in my schools.
Oh, really?
I really liked Capture the Flag. Yeah.
I never got to really play that. Was it like a, if you tagged someone when they were trying to grab it, then they had to go back to base and start again type deal?
Yeah. So you had like your half of the field and their half of the field. If you were in their half of the field, you could be tagged, and then you had to go back to your half.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you had the flag, obviously. You could, if you could get to the flag, like there was like a little circle, you could get in the circle. You could stay in the circle safely, but as soon as you left the circle in their territory, you could get tagged again and you'd be sent back. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was, it's one of those things where like you don't really appreciate it as a kid, but like, man, how fun would it be to just like run around and play Capture the Flag with like 20 people as an adult?
I wouldn't recommend this, but there was a day, this is when parkour was a thing and everyone was getting into it. We played parkour tips at my primary school when I was in high school. And we were like jumping on all the roofs and playing tips on the roofs of the school. So, you know, in hindsight, that's an OH&S nightmare.
Yes.
But I did get away from being tagged by jumping off like a 12-foot high roof or something, maybe a bit taller. And I nailed the dismount, by the way. So, you know, shout out to me one time.
Good
For
stuff,
being
mate.
a maniac. Yep.
Speaking
Ankle
of
survived.
strange stuff that's happened in schools, that could go a lot of ways. I once played laser skirmish in a school.
Yeah.
And I feel like that probably isn't legal anymore. But anyways, Spear up. He's going to get himself the entry in through mid. He's got a couple of them. E-Fire able to peg one back. But doesn't look like this round's going to go too swimmingly for Chinggis Warriors. That's a nice pick, though. Good finish from EFI. He's working hard to hold on to this A bomb site. Now starting to get a bit of assistance as well from Rooks, who... Here's these players exiting back out short, and they're going to double swing him, but not too much success at all. Great spray transfer. And 3-4 the scoreline here. Chinggis Warriors fighting their way back on CT.
Yeah, nasty little transfer there. Unfortunate for -72C not to get the trade and not to get another chance in the round. But yeah, Chinggis Warriors with 3 live at the end of that one. AK carried across. Makes things that little bit more dangerous. 2 AKs even. And a chance for them to equalize here in round 8. -72C back down to the pistols. So things will be done the hard way if they are to be successful here. Corner smoke and a couple of bangers with the spawns. Looking damn good, and so's that shot.
And controls, long spray down, laboured spray down is not good enough in that circumstance. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Ariukul's going to lose his life by just sending it through the mid doors. Once again, Chinggis Warriors are really letting themselves down when they start to look good. Rooks good for a couple. Oh, again, a fantastic spray control from him. But he'll need one more, and Borosto's head is going to go flying as well. Rooks is the savior of round number 8 for Chinggis Warriors. Great flash too, it has to be said.
Yeah, lovely spray transfer. Going from 2 to 3. More easy ones to save it. And yes, you can say, oh, it's just little eco frags. Yeah, but at the same time, someone's got to hit him. All those pistols can pop your head right off. So shout out to Rooks one time for getting the job done. Get down and dirty with it. 2-3 splits. Chinggis Warriors heavy focus towards a long, nice and early. Bit of damage going on to Spira's way with the HE into long doors. And B going to be unaffected at the moment. But -72C will have a look if they make their way up short again, which is relatively undefended. Only controls eyes on that position from range, deep molly, and behind that smoke at long doors. And Ghetto Kids in the meanwhile is going to, could have got himself into a great position, but things now getting awkward.
And Human going to be forced away by the smoke into the long doors. Molly in middle as well. Chinggis Warriors just trying to dump some of that util to prevent the map territory being taken by -72C, and they've been largely successful in that. Kind of funneling them once again back over towards short, which is where Controls is waiting on the A site for them. But it's a fairly weakly held A site at the moment. Rotation starting to come through. Controls cannot afford to be going down here, but overstays his welcome. Looks for that fight a little too long and will eventually fall, which is now going to allow -72C out onto the site.
Oh, Carnage in the meanwhile. Going to be able to go 1-for-1, which makes things, look, on paper, a little more achievable. Long door's going to be fully cleared out. Now Ryukul will team up with Ghetto Kids to try and make the long retake happen. Rooks as well. Dangerous with the rifle in the last couple of rounds and could activate at a moment's notice. Ghetto Kids with the FAMAS going to be able to take first contact. They need to trade it, and that ain't happening. 1-2, nothing really found this time for Rooks. But a 5th on the board to keep the lead for -72C.
Yeah, man, Chinggis Warriors are really doing it tough on this CT side. The way that these rounds are playing out, it's honestly amazing that they've actually even gotten to 4.
Yeah.
Because that looks really clean from -72C. And there's been a couple of other rounds where that probably should have been the result. Except for a name such as Rooks. So I think Chinggis Warriors have got to be cheering that they've gotten to 4, to be honest, and hoping that they've got quite a solid T side. Because that is what's looking like it's going to be required to win this map.
No real change in pace towards the A side of things, but over towards B, it is the full crunch. 2-for-1 trade. And that's going to be a nice little upgrade for Chinggis Warriors. And if they play the numbers game and even block long, that's going to be plenty of time to go to the rotate. That's going to be the bomb maybe caught. Oh, on its way to long, inches in that. As Ghetto Kids is on the fast flank, and surely this is a Chinggis Warriors round.
Oh, you would think so. E-Fire, otherwise known as Ghetto Kids, still working his way through. He does not want to go too quickly here in case bedroom doors is still being watched, but a lot of delaying util coming out now from Chinggis Warriors. It's going to cause a bit of a ruckus for those players on ramp. They've got a boost as well for Rooks. He's got an AWP in hand. Not opting to scope in just yet to give the game away. He's got a 1-for-1, but Inhuman That is a nice spray down on the totem pole. Ghetto Kids not able to land his shots this time around. Just over peaks the corner. Leaves it on to Controls, who's only got a scout, and he will need to do some fancy work with this one to bring this round back. Not going to happen. 6-4, minus 72C. Putting together a pretty good T side.
It looked so good until it didn't. E-Fire, aka Ghetto Kids, just putting himself in the best position possible, but unfortunately just didn't actually activate on the flank. I don't know if he ever really spotted that player rotating and realized it was the bomb, because if he kept on going there and won that initial fight, then maybe we'd be living in a different reality. But for now, it's just back down to some upgraded pistols and full aggression straight down the guards. Controls, I don't think he's been seen making it to Sui, although Inhuman is looking this direction. Maybe they are aware. Swinging in tries towards the top of mid. And Barosto happy to pad those stats if needed. CT's all deleted from the vicinity, and it's Rooks in a 1v5 to try and maybe make a miracle happen.
Nah, not going to happen. Someone else has got to help this guy, man. Like, it's not fair. Can't just keep looking at Rooks to try and win these rounds. I mean, Controls in the MRQ was actually the standout player for Chinggis Warriors in the matches that were... Look, I almost sort of said, like, he's a bit of a noob basher. And he really was, right? He was beating up the teams that are worse than Chinggis Warriors, and he was struggling in the games where they were playing against a better team. And, you know, in this game, like, minus 72C, in theory, should not be on the same level of Chinggis Warriors. So where's Controls? Where's the noob bashing? He's just gone completely missing. Yeah, you're playing with your coach. Carnage doesn't make for a particularly easy time, but you want to be seeing a little bit more from Ariukul and Controls, I feel. Straight out onto long is minus 72C. Chinggis Warriors going to work hard for this final round of the half. E-Fire got the headshot onto Spira, but he'll go down, and now it's onto Controls, who, again, just can't get anything done, and that's long taken, 2 kills taken, and it should be an 8th round taken as well for minus 72C.
On paper. But Rooks is still alive, and he put Ariukul all the way to Car. It could just be a bait in the master plan. Playing the edge of the smoke there at long. Ariukul may be re-cleared. And Spira looking in the wrong position for this fight. It's double Car. It's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. Except they give it up. And the T's are unaware that any of this has even unfolded. They're going to go for a gamble towards B. And unfortunately, with this re-smoke at long and a molly at Car, Chinggis Warriors realise, probably should have held that one. Unlucky.
Fair enough.
The awkward sounds, you know what I mean? Maybe I, yep, yeah, probably shouldn't have, yep, Yeah, I feel that one too.
That's kind of been the name of this half, really, for Chinggis Warriors.
What?
Chinggis Warriors. You know, there's been a few rounds which they've been close to winning, but haven't been able to. And then there's been a few rounds where they really shouldn't have won, and then someone's popped off. But I don't know. You know, earlier I was saying I think they should be happy with 4. Now, though, I'm not sure. Could be possible, but they're not aware of Barosto in Goose. And everyone's looking silly. 8-4 is the scoreline. First half looking okay for minus 72C. Back into the second half here between -72C and Chinggis Warriors. And it's kind of looking like -72C might actually have something for us on this map at us too. Thought for a bit that Chinggis Warriors were just going to come rolling into this one after dominating Inferno and do much the same thing. But unless they've got a really good T side, this is going to be a tough one to come back from. And on top of that, they probably need the pistol as well. Nice double setup in lower tunnels. Already working out, although Rooks is good for the trade. He may not be expecting that second player. Carnage going to drop. Inhuman in the picture as well. He'll go for a big old swing onto Rooks and more or less seal the deal.
Bomb plane will go a long way, to be honest. Just clear outside the doors. Just get the bomb down. Come on. Lovely choice. E-fire. Gonna plant quite safe. I guess if he is able to find himself be ramped.
Wait, I think it's A?
They think it's A.
No.
They think it's A. They're wasting so much time here. Like, so much time. But problem is, in the meanwhile, E-fire's gone to upper duck, and the bomb's not planted for there. And that makes things really awkward now because all CTs are going to be retaking from B ramp. So he needs to fight on the cross and info gains. Shots ain't connecting. Unfortunate series of events for him. Great smoke on the defuse there, boys. Necessary.
Truly. Man, if he would have actually pushed into middle and maybe picked one up on the mid cross or just fought it, anywhere in mid, like just bought it another second or two, that could have been the difference. 9-4, the score though. Chinggis Warriors may be capitulating on this map. It's not really a map that they find themselves on too often, but I honestly thought that we were going to get a better Dust 2 out of Chinggis Warriors than what we have had. They've beat some decent teams on it in the past, but being exposed a little bit by -72C. And look, to be fair, a couple of silly sort of throwaway rounds in that first half. There was one 4v2 that went the way of -72C. So Chinggis Warriors haven't exactly done themselves any favors.
Well, Barosto's on the hunt. The hunt for information. And that information is getting relayed to the rest of the troops. Hey, just stack A, stay short. This is going to be great, guys. Molly to block, or an 8 even to break. That'll buy more time and slow down this flank. But look at where you're going to see Carnage facing. It's the wrong damn way, but will he refocus on long doors at all? The delay is great, but the flank needs to activate to make this work. There it is, Carnage falling, and now things get even more awkward. Controls not allowed to make his way to site, and with 10 on the board, this is looking almost done all over Red Rover. And -72C showing up on D2.
Speaking of Red Rover.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that was a game as well. That
Yeah,
was
well,
one of
look,
them.
Bull Rush and Red Rover crossover were pretty much, living in harmony together. Almost the same thing, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Was there a difference? I don't think there was a difference. Did you do Stuck in the Mud?
Yeah, I recall that one as well. I can't even remember the rules, to be honest.
I think it's like when you got tagged, instead of just becoming a tagger, you would become like an octopus stuck in place and people couldn't like walk towards you because you tag them when, like, you turn into a tree sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to move your feet. I'm trying to think of some other good ones now.
Dodgeball.
Oh, yeah, classic. Even better after the movie.
We played a lot of handball at my school as well.
Yeah. little big into handball. Although we found out that different schools, eventually when you go to high school and stuff, you found out different schools played it with different rules.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's kind of weird.
Here comes the entry into B. Chinggis Warriors. Hang on. Biek watching mid. Meanwhile, his teammates just actually gotten booked on the run out from tunnels. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there from -72C. And this is, it's where this half could really start to get rolling for Chinggis Warriors. They've lost a couple of players there. But it shouldn't really be much of a retake attempt here from -72C, unless they want to throw away a lot of guns. Which this is very late. They're still sticking around. I'm not sure I'm for this one. You can't be going now, surely not. I mean, even if this works, that is just straight trolling. That is just straight trolling.
There is time. There was time, but the diffuser got killed. Yes.
They've got no
agree
money,
with
man.
you, Jordan.
If they save 3 guns here, they have another perfect buy here.
I agree with you.
And now
that
it's
was
got
trolling.
A very awkward half buy type situation. But Chinggis Warriors gave him a little bit of a sniff, They kind of baited them in with those 2 kills in middle. I don't think he had that defuse even if he lived, did he?
Oh, I think he did. It looked close. With 5 seconds,
Oof.
I thought he had it for sure. Barosto, though, having an AWP, is going to potentially make this round have a different outcome. And it should be in -72C's favor, although there is still only 2 MP9s and a FAMAS around this, so we'll see what ends up happening. Chinggis Warriors can still overwhelm one or the other site. And the CTs aren't or weren't necessarily playing in tradable positions. So Barosto could have fallen for free, didn't. Repositions back towards long instead. And Chinggis Warriors just trying to figure out where they want to go. Progression utility out upper tunnels. And a chance for them to go for the B split. But with 2 members here, it might be tough to get in. B smoke going to be thrown to draw one of the CTs back towards that mid area. And maybe a repump, a refresh on one of these smokes eventually. 3 players making their way up. A molly on that left side near gates. And the CTs playing from big box as well as double stack is potentially a solid approach. Both get dealt with though, and the AWP's going to be able to try and arrive in the vicinity just in time. Down goes Spira, but no smoke for the door. Mate, you got to swing together. You got to hit these, and it's gone okay for the first part. Second man, final man even, deleted, and the trade game goes Chinggis Warriors' way, even with a man down.
Man, they get through that by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
10-6 is the score, though, and Chinggis Warriors are really making an argument for themselves in this second half already, which is quite scary for -72C. They've got a bit of a buffer zone, so there is that to talk about. But this is very quickly going to go to 10-7. Chinggis Warriors will be on a bit of a streak then. I don't know, man. I'm kind of seeing the pieces of the puzzle fall into place here where Chinggis Warriors could still walk away with a map victory here, close this one out 2-0. Don't get me wrong. They're going to have to work hard for it, but it's not a sure thing anymore for -72C, which was what it felt like it was maybe like a round away from.
Okay. Okay. I thought maybe with the Mackie they could have been on for something, but yeah, it's just a farm situation for Chinggis Warriors. Biek will fall eventually. And that'll be that. 10-7. Chinggis Warriors not quite out of the game yet. Big round out of them on a miscellaneous bunch of a buy. But reading that CT economy, knowing it was cracked, was, well, pretty mentally cracked decision to go for the Mackies instead. Big damage out of them. And we'll see if it's going to be a slight bonus for controls. Yeah, he's keeping that Mac 10 running. Although he's not necessarily having the best game himself, so maybe he'll put himself out in front to be traded. Not the worst decision. Carnage on the wide line. And close peak. Oh, it was inhuman from the back, the front, the back to get that shot through. Lovely little two-piece and almost the third there, jumping up with the scout. But there's still what's up with the scout of his own. Let's see if he's going to be able to lock in the B site or if Chinggis Warriors even come this direction.
Man, these rounds are just so touch and go. Ariukul's going to give up a bit more of his HP. Biek, the other player spotted out now. They know there's no one on A. So they're just going to send it over there. Are they? They're dumping all their util for mid. Surely, what? They've slowed down. Surely they're just running A. Sure. Now. Rooks spotting the last player out on B.
I think he was doggy guarding the AWP, trying to keep it in their midst. But now, with his position known, he's very happy to keep on fighting. And that'll be an AWP retrievable.
All right, well, 10-8 the score now. Full reinvestment coming through from -72C. Gap is closing. Money is low. CT side trying to hold on, but Chinggis Warriors are rolling in nicely on this T side at the moment. That said, they're not winning the rounds very cleanly, Mac. A lot of them are just feeling like they're getting a little bit lucky in the mid-round or finding a couple of nice trades back, something like that. Not yet seen a really solid gun round from Chinggis Warriors where they've kind of dominated and locked it in and said, yeah, we're far and away the better team right now.
Yeah, doing all the right bits and pieces. Corner smoke fading shortly. Carnage in the pit. And happy to try and gain some information, but Furious smoke to block. And that clock will trickle on down for another 20. Chinggis Warriors just at least locking in that long control, not disrespecting the smoke. Are just going to wait for this one. Biek very deep towards C. Is that CT or elbow he's playing from? Time will tell.
Has to be elbow. Yeah.
Yeah. Has a human there as a helping hand. Only a mullet and incendiary. One single incendiary is all they have left at 40 seconds, and that's gone.
Yeah, and Chinggis Warriors have not decided to push up long at all. That was a fake. They can go for the double pump here, and there's nothing to stop them. Controls. It's faking over towards B. That's drawing a rotation off of short Inhuman, now down into lower tunnels. That'll be an important fight for Controls to try to win, which he does. The rest of the fight has to go the way of Chinggis Warriors up on A as well, and that is clean. Oh. Clean as a whistle. This is the round that we've been waiting for from Chinggis Warriors that makes you say, yes, they actually can win rounds, and they can do it easily on Dust 2. So 10-9 the score. Money again on breaking point for -72C as they were down to $0. They get 3.4k loss bonus. It's not enough for a buy here, so they're going to have a half buy. 10-10 will probably be where we're at, as long as Chinggis Warriors can make sure they cross their T's and dot their I's, which frankly has been a bit of an issue today.
That timing under Barosto was excruciating to watch. Lovely corner smoke there. Not sure if Carnage spotted the cross from Biek though, so hold that thought. The util will be dumped for -72C over towards long, and Spira pretty crispy with that scout, but needs a little more damage to convince me that maybe the CTs will have a chance at winning this round. Fight towards long, not going super well for Biek. Has to get that reload off. HE forced him deeper into the pit. And E-Fire, he's just playing this one solo, so it could go wrong, especially with those whiffs, but he'll bring that one back eventually. And Spirit is hungry to look for a trade. But mollied off, decides just to send it back somewhere else. And maybe go for a bit of a gamble, bit of a lean towards that B site instead.
Controls. Oh. Just trying to walk out B. He's going to lose his life. And Spira, who's been pretty sharp with the scout, gets another one there on Togetto Kids. A site will be taken by Chinggis Warriors in the meanwhile, but they are definitely in danger of losing this round if another Deagle shot or another scout shot connects. AWP actually now for Spira. Barosso's got an AK. And Chinggis Warriors have kind of given -72C the tools to win this round. But how do you make a retake happen? Barosso's going to have to do something special. 24 and 15. He's been a big talking point. And there's another kill from him, so he's up to 25. Carnage fighting for his life. He'll be helped out by Rooks. Doesn't have to worry about that CT position anymore. But space is being taken by -72C. Trouble is, time working against them. They don't really have time for this defuse. Rooks is there to ensure that it will be a round one. There's no defuse kit. Chinggis Warriors lose all of their guns. They do get to the 10th round.
Nice little trade. The handshake, Barosto. Given the AK, the Chinggis Warriors say, look, we'll take the round, mate. Although it did get very close. A few more shots through that box, and maybe they would have made it their way to sight a little faster. Bomb was planted for Platt, for Rooks, who decided just to take it into his own hands, go aggressive instead, and try to help his teammate on site. Now, into the 21st round we go, and move towards Long. Carnage unsuccessful on the opening, and will be smoked off too. Chinggis Warriors going straight through mid, which is looking like the path of least resistance. Only Spira peeking over to this position. But it's a pretty solid read to go for the early boost there on the double stack in CT. So if a mid B smoke comes out, Inhuman is in a great spot to maybe fight or at least get some decent information.
Well, there is going to be the mid to B smoke.
Great read.
Another one getting tossed through though by Ariukul. To shore up any holes in that smoke. Flashes over onto B. They're pushing their way on in. Inhuman did get himself one. Biek, if he could get one as well, this round really opens back up for -72C. It's not just one, it's in fact two. Quick bomb plan attempt from Trolls is in fact a fake plan. Right, down to a 4-on-2, which is tough going for Chinggis Warriors. They almost need to try to find a fight, which they do. Inhuman goes down to Controls. The molly's still up. He gets a plant out. Barosto thinking about going through that smoke. In the end, Will. You got Carnage here, who's got a rough angle to try to fight from. Through the window is what's up. And this can't be winnable with an AWP from this position. So -72C do get themselves that 11th. And it is going to come at a pretty opportune time just to keep themselves with their noses in front against Chinggis Warriors.
Yeah, a bit of an odd position to fight from there. And unfortunately, he didn't get that pick onto Wassup from the back of sight. Legged on the jump up. But yeah, beautiful hold from Biek. In this position, it is hard to find more than one, but isolating the fights that were necessary. And it looked like in the meanwhile, I think it was Wassup getting a flying kill as well, making his way out of the window. So -72C will be able to stack on another round, not allow Chinggis Warriors into the lead. But the thing is, Chinggis Warriors have strung a fair few clean rounds together, so they'll afford another buy. Shot into the corner, Barosto not connecting. And that smoke is going to be more than enough. Carnage hunting through said smoke, but it won't happen this time. And things will slow down, at least for Chinggis Warriors. -72C bringing 4 blokes to the party.
Oh, Controls. He's seen the player crossing to Car. Everybody's got a pretty good understanding of what's happening here. Smoke down halfway on Long is keeping Chinggis Warriors at bay for the moment. But a heavy, heavy presence here on shore. This is the furthest forward we've seen -72C in that area of the map. Spiro will be tagged up. Rook's looking to take it. But just wants to play chill here. He's the only point of difference really in mid right now for Chinggis Warriors. So he can't afford to be going down, particularly with the A take going well from Long. There's a flash in, there's a hole in the smoke. Won't be taken advantage of. Chinggis Warriors are able to cross into the site. And Rooks is playing this one really nicely. Nice and patient. Will eventually get spotted out by Biek, but it has cost some time. That's a scary plant from Controls.
Yeah.
And Ariukul's going to go down in the meanwhile. So a couple of little mishaps for Chinggis Warriors as that bomb plant does go down, but E-Fire doing a great job of holding on to Long. Problem is, he's now probably not expecting a second player through from Long. So the longer this round plays out, the worse it's going to be for Chinggis Warriors. He turns just in time. Great awareness from E-Fire to get another kill. And it may fall away from -72C here. Spira low, Inhuman, tagged up as well. And time has ticked away from them. It's a nice kill, but they can't win the round anymore. Surely there's no time. So Inhuman's going to get out of there. Carnage will more than likely be losing his gun here. Does get down into CT okay. So he's been allowed out by Inhuman, which does actually help out. Money is, not fantastic at the moment for Chinggis Warriors. So every little bit counts.
Yeah, that's specifically a great weapon to carry across. Got the opening for the round. Controls managing to go toe-to-toe with Barosto, sorry. And off the back of that, the ace light was committed upon. And Chinggis Warriors getting all that damage out is great, but they've got one more big round to get past, and it's this buy from -72C. Carnage not able to stop anyone on the cross. And the rest of -72C are all grouped up, looking to ball straight through the smoke that gets broke. It's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Chinggis Warriors. And again, Barosto playing a very dangerous game through that smoke, just trying to find anything, but the end of the spray from Control takes him out.
Yeah, this round's gone really, really pear-shaped for -72C, and unfortunately, it just seems like now that CT economy is going to get the better of them right at the inopportune moment. Such is the nature of the beast. They've given themselves a lot of room to play with the first half, but they need more out of this CT side. Aryuko's going to give up a kill. It's kind of bold to just be running around in mid like that. It is a 2v4, I understand that, but giving this back up to a 3-on-4, a 3-on-2, I should say, is actually going to give a really decent fighting chance in for -72C. That's a good shot in from Carnage, but there's no trade in these two players. They're very low. So really just going to be looking to play time. Controls has got a molly. He's also got the orb, and he's sitting in a car, so maybe that molly won't come into play. Luckily, gets a nice easy shot into what's up. That round could have really fallen apart for Chinggis Warriors.
Ooh. Well, maybe that looked good. But it's faster approach from Chinggis Warriors again towards the corner. Flashes in from the CTs. They want to fight, but again, it's going to be that deep smoke, the deep corner smoke. Giving so much space for Chinggis Warriors just to take control, make their way into pit unscathed. And -72C are going to refresh it themselves. And maybe even look to fight behind it, creeping in. And try pushing forward. Ain't no way. The flash in, it's damn good, but the shots are even better. The flash goes just slightly too deep. And I think Ghetto Kids was up in time to see that one coming across the top. Good read. And Chinggis Warriors now with a man advantage. 4 more bowling pins to knock down.
Yeah, but a push coming through in mid right now. Spira looking for it. And Rooks, he is set up waiting for it, but time will be of the essence for both of these players. Spira having a look. Rooks missing his shots, and there's a one in from Barosto as well. This is where the round could start to fall apart. Controls gets one back. A peek in from Barosto. He's doing so much work with this scout. This is craziness, and Chinggis Warriors are trapped in long. They don't know that Spira has given up that control. There's another kill back in from Controls. How many times do I have to say that word in one sentence? I don't know, but Barosto has decided the scout is enough. We're going to go back over to the M4. Time becoming a bit of a factor here for Chinggis Warriors. Aryuko going to gamble towards the B-bomb side, and he
good choice.
will have to start running shortly, but he will be able to make it over there, but he's got to now win himself a 1v2, and they will hear that rotation early, so he's just able to sneak his way in through the window, but Aryuko got to find a way to win this 1-on-2, and he doesn't have much time to get into a great post-plant position, so he's just going to hit some banger shots here. That's the only way he can do this. Opportunity gone begging. 4 HP on Barosto, though. The Glock comes out. He knows he's done the damage, and he'll get the round under the belt for Chinggis Warriors. It was more difficult than it should have been, that final round, considering the circumstances, but it is a win nonetheless for Chinggis Warriors, and they do get themselves a 2-0.
Yeah, you'll take it. Every day of the week, a dub's a dub. No matter if it's an inch, a mile, a round, or 13 rounds. And that's going to be Chinggis Warriors going on to take on their domestic brothers of the Huns. And that'll be a classic game tomorrow for you guys to watch as well. But again, this one provided entertainment-wise and Counter-Strike-wise. But we do have to say goodbye to -72C. They looked so good until they didn't. Look, opportunities like that where they had the numbers advantage. And Rue plus a flash equals an L for -72C. It's crazy, those scenes. And there was only minuscule rounds in it. But yeah, that'll be that for anyone from East Russia playing in Asia this time. But look, I hope that they, keep it together and show us what they're capable of next season. But season 49 for them has come to an end.
Yeah, indeed. It was a decent effort, though, from them. I mean, I don't think expectations were super high, so I'll give them some credit where it is due, making it this deep. And falling to Chinggis Warriors is no slouch. Chinggis Warriors is that team from the Mongolia and West Asia qualifier that will be representing at the major, which essentially means they're the #2 team in Mongolia at the moment. And I think most people would consider Mongolia to be a reasonably strong region within the Asia ecosystem. I personally would have them as the second region behind China. I think China's a little bit stronger just in terms of depth. But, if you're number
depends
2
on
behind...
the day, honestly.
It's true. But if you're number 2 behind the Mongols in Mongolia, then that's not a bad shout at all for Chinggis Warriors. And they will match themselves up against the Huns. And so that discussion point, that talking point that we've just had right there about who's number 2 in Asia will come into play in that matchup tomorrow. The Huns versus Chinggis Warriors. I think prior to the MIQ, most people would have said the Huns, but they had a bit of a falling out there. And now it feels as though Chinggis Warriors may have the advantage, but another matchup between those two teams should be quite an intense one. Very, very close, I imagine. In the upper bracket final, of course, Tyloo and Lin Vision. So that's lending credence to my argument that the Chinese region is maybe a little bit stronger than the Mongolian region at the moment. But that is also sure to be a really, really good game. So I think both games are actually really worth looking forward to. And I believe both of them are on tomorrow at the same time. But we won't be there, Mac. We'll be covering Oceania tomorrow, and then we'll be looking forward to the grand final of OCE as well on Sunday. So if you're interested in catching up with us, well, do be there a little bit earlier than you were today for Asia. But we'll be back for Oceania tomorrow. Time for a nap. We'll see you then.
Think you've seen it all? With FACEIT Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive FACEIT points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, FACEIT.